Obviously, coming off the bye week, which was much needed, it fell at a good time. 6 games into the season, halfway point. So obviously, it gave us a time to get some guys healed up that were not serious injuries, but little things that were nagging them. Some of the older guys and guys who were seeing substantial amount of playing time. So it got to get them fresh and healed up a little bit. But also work a lot of young guys. We used it, like I think I told you earlier, last Tuesday and Wednesday was basically totally against no opponent, just us getting better at technique, fundamentals, tackling, those kind of things, understanding the concepts of what we're doing. Last Thursday we worked on Arkansas, and then Sunday, which was a different kind of Sunday because we actually got 2 Tuesday practices, which was huge. We got to practice a Tuesday practice on Sunday and a Tuesday practice on Tuesday, and so that was big. Then today we worked on the red area and third down. So all that being said, you know, the guys got a lot of energy, they got a lot of focus. We've had good work, but now we've got to go out and produce on the field in a very, very strong opponent. And that when you look at them offensively, they've got a very talented quarterback. They're very talented at wide receiver. They run very good routes. They're strong. They all have good catch radiuses and really play well. Got a huge offensive line, and of course, they're Arkansas, so with Brett as the head coach, they just keep bringing another tailback in. Doesn't matter if one leaves, 2 leaves at the same time, they just bring another one in, and it's hard to tell a lot of difference. I will say that there is some tape out there in terms of this year that has a little bit of different flair to it than just traditional Arkansas since he's been there. Although the last game they seem to have gotten back to the old traditional Arkansas.
Kevin, are there things from LSU that you can glean from, hey, we did this well against a 22 or a 21, and that gives me confidence going forward against Arkansas?
Well, we got different players, and we've kind of molded this. There are some things that will be similar, and there's some things that we played well against them. There's some things we didn't play very well against them. But this is a different group, and we feature a couple of different wrinkles that we didn't feature there that we had featured in past years. And so, but there'll be some just familiarity of having played them.
Your linebackers have obviously played well this season, but is this maybe one of the tougher games for you just because of what they do with the tight end spot?
Well, I think you got the same thing out of LSU. I mean, in terms of the run game, there were a lot of the same similarities. Big people, big personnel out there. But they do, I mean, they move that guy around a lot. And he can be a fullback, he can be a tight end on the line of scrimmage, he can be a tight end adjacent to another tight end. So and then they spread him out, leave him out there, spread him out, move him back in. You know, he's kind of their move guy. So there's some different adjustment issues there, which you got to be sound with all they do in terms of the pullers and what we call gap plays, block down, pull around, add an extra hat in the gap. Sometimes add 2 extra haps in the gap. Then that, you know, you got to fit that up. So we worked real hard at doing that.
Is Deshaun Davis one of the guys that had some nagging injuries, and how does he look this week?
Oh, he's been fine. He's been fine. Can't tell anything from that. You know, he had that little pull at Mississippi State, but he's been fine. He's a tough guy.
You touched on the running back. I know you said last week that, you know, run defense is something that you really wanted to improve on in the bye week. What kind of challenge does Raleigh Williams in particular?
Well, I think that's pretty obvious. I mean, I think he leads the league in rushing. So that's lead the SEC in rushing. That's a statement. So.
Kevin, in a game like this, is stopping the run so important that you have to give up something in pass defense?
No. The quarterback's too good a player to do that. You know, you got they're balanced, and you got to make sure that you don't get the top knocked off the coverage. You match up the receivers, and you fit the gap. Just play the call. And it's about us. It always has been, always will be. It's about us. They're not going to allow them to put more than 11 guys out there, and we get 11 out there too, and there's 1 ball. So do your job.
You talk about them doing some different things on film, though. How different is it to see an Arkansas team that'll throw it 40, 45 times, so that's not the norm for them.
No, it's not. You know, it's not. And I think it probably, I don't know this, you'd have to ask them, but, you know, the quarterback's pretty accurate. And he's a tough guy. He gets hit a lot and stands in there and throws it at the last second and throws it very accurate.
How much of a challenge and motivation is it for your guys knowing that Arkansas is a team that chews up that clock? They're number 2 nationally in time of possession, and just getting them off the field and, in a way, getting them off their rhythm of wanting to chew up the clock?
Yeah. Well, we don't worry about what they do. It's what we do, and what we do is, you know, we challenge our guys to stop the run, you know, and keep the top on the coverage and get off the field, either through turnovers or downs. And so obviously that's key in any game. You cannot give up big runs. You can't give up big passes, and you got to get off the field on third down. So I mean, it's no different. They just go about it a little different way, but not any different than any of us, any of the players or any of the coaches have seen this year.
What has Andrew Williams done to earn the extra playing time he's getting this year?
Plays with great effort, plays with good technique, and you know, we got a group of guys that if we told them that, hey, if you give us all you got and you play with good technique, good motor, and then, you know, and earn playing time, we're going to find a place to give you playing time, and that's just reflective of that.
I mean, Marlon had already been here in the spring. You had Javaris Davis this played for a year, but Derek Brown, all that group. How important was a week like last week for them to kind of catch their breath? You know, that really playing for the first time, just to kind of.
I think it was important for all of us to catch our breath. You know, there's a lot of hours spent in this building by players and coaches, and I think if it's used correctly, you can make yourself a better football player, but you can also get fresh, if you will, because that routine of a game week routine of, okay, you know, we know exactly what we're going to do every day at practice. We know exactly what we're going to do every day as a coaching staff at a certain time. Well, that gets, you know, after a while, you know, it's nice to get a little bit of a different way of doing it.
Do you have any concerns when you come off a bye week as well as you've been playing when you get back?
No, I'm not a guy that. We're not built that way. Concern is not the right word. You know, I guess if I was running government, yes, I've got concerns with this happening in this, but you know, we're not running government. It's just a football game. It's about what we do, and it still comes back to, hey, get your hat in your gap, do it with physicality, do it with technique, and fly your tail to the football. And that's what we control. So we don't get out of that realm of, okay, I get concerned about this. Well, if you look at it, that's not something I control anyway. What plays they call, when they call them, who they got on the field, we don't control that. We control what defense we call, what gap that our players have, what zone they have, what man they have, and how they play that. And so when it's in your control, then you don't, concern's not an issue.
A couple weeks back, you were saying that you weren't worried about the takeaways, that they were going to come, and you see teams, you know, getting that groove where, you know, they get 3 in a row, 3 in a row, 3 in a row for games. Do you feel like your guys are starting to kind of get the sense that that's going to happen after this last game?
Well, we've certainly got a couple in bunches in the last couple of games, but and we've stressed it every week. It just happened that way, and hopefully it does keep coming. I mean, but don't have a crystal ball of that.
Anything else?
How are your safeties come along, you think, throughout the season and going into a game like this?
Well, they're making progress each week, and the problem that we've had is that if you look at it, there's never been a week where everything stayed the same. It was a little injury here, another issue here, or it never was the same group to pick from. We've kind of had that now in, I think, 2 weeks in a row. So it's got to where we're a little more in sync back there. They practice probably the best they practiced all year in terms of